It's that Super Bowl, no, she my flow. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's that
Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy, the White Drizzle, and I got a little different video. I'm going to start doing a little bit Fortnite tutorials for you guys, because obviously I suck at Fortnite, but I'm better than the average person. So we're going to talk about the best place you should drop. This is going to be episode 1 of the series, and I'm going to be talking about the best place you could drop to finish in the top 12. I'm talking about solo. This also works for duo. I don't play squads enough, but I played squads a decent amount to know that these spots work as well. So I'm going to pull up a map right now of Fortnite. You guys are going to see this on your screen. And we're going to see places that usually the map closes around Loot Lake 90% of the time. Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. But Loot Lake's going to be your point of interest where you're going to want to end up. So this is why I picked these spots in particular. Alright, so the 3 spots that I chose and used as a sample size was Junk Junction, Snobby Shores, and Flush Factory. Flush Factory is a little bit farther than that core middle of the map, but it still works for this case because I've tried it. So we're going to pull up a graph now of me going to these spots 10 times in a game. So what I've done was I played 30 games, and I kept record of what place I finished by just going to these spots and looting. And if you guys want to know around how many kills I get per game with this method, I get about 3 or 4. In the gameplay I'm showing you, it's an exciting gameplay, so it's about 3 or 4 kills. Not a lot, but I average about 3 or 4 on this map playing solo. Or on going to these spots, I should say. So we're going to start off talking about Junk Junction. Now, Junk Junction is a great map to go to. You have numerous spots to loot. You have the main Junk Junction. You have the little town to the below it. I'm going to circle it. You also have the houses above it, and you also have the llama. So you have 4 spots you can loot. Great place if you want to get a Scar, an L1, a semi-auto, anything along those lines. That's the place you want to go if you want to get the best loot. And as you can see by the graph, I got 8 times in the top 12 out of 10. That's pretty impressive. Now, I'm a mediocre Fortnite player. I'm not no amazing player, so this is pretty average. So I finished top 12, and I didn't just camp the whole time. I went out and got kills. I played aggressive. So that works there. If you're camping, you could probably finish top 12 wherever you go. But this is for people that want to get kills and not die as much. Want the best loot possible to prepare them for the end. So the second map we're going to talk about, Snobby Shores. Snobby Shores is a little bit of a different one, kind of, I would say. Not a bad place to go to at all, though. The thing with Snobby Shores is you're going to probably get into a fight right off the bat. Junk Junction, you don't have to worry about that as much. I rarely get into fights up there. I think in the 10 times I went there, I think I kept track, and there was only 2 or 3 times where I got into a gunfight with someone. And usually by then, if you know the method of jumping out, you could kind of get to the ground before they do. And let's go back to Snobby Shores. Snobby Shores is a great place to go to because if no one goes there, you have 5 houses to yourself. Plus, it's pretty close to where the player is going to be. Very rarely will a player be in like an absurdly far place where you're going to have to run across the map when you go to Snobby Shores. Sometimes it is though, so you have to prepare for that. But given that there's 5 houses, you can get the loot possible to make that journey from Snobby Shores to, let's say, Moisty Mire if you had to. That's a possibility. And when I played with Snobby Shores, just going to Snobby Shores every single time, I finished about half the time in the top 12. So not awful, not bad, decent. I mean, that's pretty good given the fact that if I went to, like, let's say Tilted Towers, I'd probably only make it out of there maybe 1 every 10 times. Because regardless of how good you are, 40 people go to Tilted Towers. And that's why I kind of picked these areas, because they're not close to Tilted Towers, so very rarely will you see people running from Tilted Towers to go to Snobby Shores, Flush Factory, or Junk Junction. Very rarely will you see them doing that. Pleasant Park, Greasy Grove, and Shifty Shafts is where they usually go after. Dusty Depot, Salty Springs, around that area. So, Snobby Shores, not a bad place to go. You get a lot of loot. You usually will get, like, come out with, like, a decent, like, an L1 or a Scar most of the time. I think I've gotten a Scar maybe 60% of the time I went there, and I got an L1 almost every time I went to Snobby Shores. I don't know what the algorithm is behind that, but I did get an L1 a lot of the time there, so that's definitely recommended. I would go there. Now we're going to talk about the last one, Flush Factory. Now Flush Factory is a little bit different than the other ones, because when I went to Flush Factory, I didn't get extravagant loot, but I got loot that I could fend people off with, which is fine. I didn't get an L1, I didn't get scars that much, maybe 1 out of the 10 times I went there I got a scar. But I still finished 4 times in the top 12, which isn't bad given the other sample size I've used. I also tried this place with other spots, or this graph with other spots, and it just didn't work. I kept dying, and it was a lot harder to make it to the top 12 because you risk getting picked off. And I feel like these places are close enough to the play area is going to be, where you don't have to worry as much about getting picked off. You still have to worry about it, but not as much. So with Flush Factory, you could rack up a lot of metal towards the end. I think you can get 700 metal total in the whole area if you loot the conveyor belts, if you loot the trucks, and if you loot the crates and the gates. You get about 750 metal. I've tried this before. I will bet money that it's 750 metal. I've done it so many times, and it's a good place to go if you want to just get metal, build a base with your friends. It's a good place to go for squads, definitely. But it's also a good place to go because there's a lot of chests, there's a lot of coverage if someone does come, and there's good places surrounding it after you loot it, just like Junk Junction. Snobby Shores does not have that, so it's a little bit of a risk. There's like one house about a tile down from it, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy this little insight. I supplied grass. I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay from each spot, and I'm going to show you like loot that I get from it and all that fun stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy this new series. I want to help you guys become better Fortnite players, so I think showing you guys what I use personally to get to like the last top 12 and how I still get kills enough to level up to get Black Knight, because I'm going for the Black Knight and I only have like a week left to get it. But by going to these spots, it's helped me get more XP than I would have if I went to a different spot. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you. As always, peace out.